The Last of Us is one of the best games in history. One of the main reasons for that is its narrative and story, which feel like a movie. You can even find the full story on YouTube without any gameplay, just the story itself. When the series was announced, a lot of people were worried. At that time, the best game adaptation we had was Sonic, and that's saying something. But when the series finally dropped, it received huge praise. However, there was one detail that worried fans: the casting choice for Ellie, the main character of the game, especially in Part 2. In the first season, even though there were some criticisms, the actress also received a lot of praise. But heading into the second season, things have gotten worse. The show was already renewed for a third season before the second even aired. And there are reports suggesting that the actress even thought about quitting because of the hate. Is that really true? Will we have a new actress playing Ellie because the current one is considered too ugly? It all started in the first season. There were tons of fan casts for Joel and Ellie. Joel was often suggested to be played by Hugh Jackman, but Hugh had already done a very similar role, an old man protecting a young girl in Logan, which was clearly inspired by The Last of Us. In the end, Joel was played by Pedro Pascal, who had already starred in a huge HBO series, Game of Thrones. And another Game of Thrones actress, Bella Ramsey, was cast as Ellie. At first, Bella seemed like an interesting choice. After all, anyone who worked on Game of Thrones was seen as a good actor. If you showed up for even 5 seconds on Game of Thrones, you basically deserved an Oscar. That was the mindset. When the first images of Bella as Ellie were released, the criticism started immediately. But during the first season, she actually did a good job. She managed to deliver a solid performance, even if she didn't look anything like Ellie from the games. For people who never played the game, it didn't really matter. But for players who lived through that story, it's impossible to look at her and truly feel she's Ellie. Personally, I think Bella is a good actress, but the fact that she doesn't physically resemble Ellie, especially for longtime fans, feels a bit disrespectful. Still, the fans need to recognize the positives. The series is incredibly faithful to the games, especially the settings, which look exactly like they do in the original. If the show failed with Ellie's casting, it nailed pretty much everything else. But now, Season 2 could ruin everything. The issue with Bella Ramsey playing Ellie has become even bigger. This part of the story takes place 5 years after the first one. Ellie needs to look older, and that's where the problems start. The first season was filmed in 2022, and the second season was filmed in 2024, meaning Bella needed to age 5 years in just 2, which is obviously impossible. Technically, Bella Ramsey is 21 years old now, but she still doesn't resemble Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. If she didn't match the role visually in Season 1, now in Season 2, it's even worse. And it's a bigger problem, because now Ellie is the real protagonist. The first game, and the first season, was Joel's story. Ellie was important, but she was still the cute foul-mouthed kid full of jokes. In Part 2, and in the second season, Ellie is an adult. She's strong, makes serious mistakes, and the entire story revolves around her. And that's the challenge. Bella needs to embody the Ellie of the second game. In Season 1, playing a funny, rebellious kid, she managed to pull it off. But now, she needs to deliver much deeper emotional layers. And the question is, can she? Spoiler warning for the game: Joel dies early in Part 2. He's killed by Abby. And Ellie goes on a brutal journey of revenge. Meaning, Bella Ramsey will be the protagonist in both Season 2 and Season 3. Will she be able to carry the series? In terms of acting, maybe yes. But visually, fans are already criticizing her heavily. Because she doesn't look like Ellie, and because she's considered too ugly for the role. And honestly, it's funny. Most complaints are not even about her performance. It's just, she's ugly, and that's it. Adding to that, Season 2 will make fans hate Ellie even more. And with the actress already dealing with so much hate, it doesn't look like a good mix. The first episode of Season 2 is out, and there have already been some changes. Abby's motivations were changed. Tina's casting was spot on, Joel is still incredible. And Ellie? Well, she looks even less like the character we know. I'm not the kind of person who demands blind loyalty to source material. But honestly, if the game didn't exist, the series would probably be seen as better. The first episode of Season 2 dropped, and there were some changes. Abby's motivation was changed. Tina was cast well. Joel is still... And Ellie? Well, she looks even less like the Ellie fans love. I'm not the kind of person who complains about perfect faithfulness to comics or games. But honestly, if the game didn't exist, the show would probably be better. And now, a big question remains. After the death of Joel and Pedro Pascal's departure from the story, can Bella Ramsey truly carry the series on her own? Or will The Last of Us lose the heart and weight that made it legendary?